Welcome to the Surly Nerd Daily. Today we're talking about PlayStation, how we think they're making a big mistake. What is that mistake, Eric?
Investing so much into multiplayer. When you're ahead by doing a certain kind of thing, why would you switch it?
It's like hubris is what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's 60% of their budget is going towards multiplayer games. And I mean, we don't know exactly what multiplayer is defined to them. So
Right.
it could be like, co-op shooters like
It
Borderlands
has
style.
online elements.
Yeah, but if it's live service and 60% of it's that's how you built your audience on games like God of War and Ghost of Tsushima and everything like that. And now you're like, hey, give us all your money in these live service games. I mean, I don't think they're that blatant with it. They do want to build a community around it. They want to have, kind of what Destiny has. I think that's why they went out and got Bungie.
Let me ask you this. Did you buy your PlayStation to play multiplayer or have multiplayer experiences?
No, there's a large percentage that did that, and they play Call of Duty, and all the popular sports games. But me personally, I play that on Xbox because I'm lucky enough to have all the consoles. But Xbox, I find to be a better experience for that. But PlayStation, I'm there for their first party stuff. That's what I picture when I picture PlayStation is God of War and those experiences you can't get anywhere else.
The ones that win awards and
Exactly.
Game of the Years, and it's just like they're taking a step back. It's like, no, we're doing too good. We got to, And I'm not saying don't make multiplayer games. It's just live service is not working. Games are getting delayed or they're coming out and they're not sticking.
It's a crapshoot, really.
Think of what Ubisoft put out, that roller derby one.
Yeah, Roller Champions.
Didn't last.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's already gone.
Dead on arrival.
I haven't stuck with a live service game that.
You pick one generally.
Yeah.
People generally pick one live service game. Maybe you so we play Siege. We still play Siege. And maybe we'll hop into Call of Duty when it comes out. We're not going to stay long term.
No.
And there's people that will play one and then they'll play like Rocket League, something that's very different. But generally you're not bouncing around between a whole bunch of them. You'll check out the new thing and then you'll, it's either better and you stick with it or you go back to your other thing.
But people
that's a risk when you're starting a new one.
And people are not going to give up Call of Duty, Siege, Fortnite. Nobody's going to give up those known experiences to play something that, they haven't shown anything that I would jump off of those games for.
Well, let's say best case scenario. And yes, this would be best case for them money-wise. Best case scenario, they do have their Call of Duty. Their game is as popular with PlayStation players as Call of Duty is. They make a ton of money for sure. But all of a sudden, what is the public perception? Because even Call of Duty players hate Call of Duty largely. They have so many issues. They're going to complain. They don't look at that and be like, yeah, Call of Duty is just I'm going to champion Call of Duty.
Yeah.
They'll play the hell out of it, but they're going to be negative about it. No God of War player or fan that beats that game is like negative at any point about it. There may be things they point out, but that is the thing. And it reflects on PlayStation that it's that good. But say you got a Call of Duty type game, it's not going to have that kind of, charisma with the community. It's going to be a little bit of a obtuse thing in the middle of it, but it'll make them a lot of money, and that's what they're looking
See,
at.
I lean more towards single player games, and that's just how I am. And I've seen most multiplayer games as just hanging out with my friends, and it's popcorn games. It's just fun, but they're not. I wouldn't ever say they're my game of the years or even top. It's just fun experiences, and I don't stick with many more than a few months if I do.
Yeah.
So it's just a gamble that they're investing all this time, and it's putting these studios into making these when they could be working on big experiences that people, I think, invest in PlayStation in the first place for.
I just wonder if this is like an end game for them because can it be related to the Microsoft deal for Activision? At this point it is, but I wonder if when they first started thinking about it, if that was coinciding with the announcement of Xbox trying to buy Activision. So is it their end game to, hey, let's make a game that everyone leaves Call of Duty for, and therefore it's exclusive, and Xbox doesn't sell any more Xbox, and we don't have competition? Right. Is that the idea? Because it is the biggest player base in the world, is that type of game. So if they can build a better Call of Duty, which is a pipe dream because it's established for 20 years now, that's where I think they're making the mistake. Is their hubris is that everything we do right now works. So why won't this work? And it's hard. Multiplayer is the most competitive space. Like, no pun intended. It's the most competitive space in gaming.
We see games come and go every year in this space.
Way more losses than wins.
Huge studios like Rocksteady, who I think very highly of, are now into making these multiplayer games where I think it tarnishes their brand and their look. Like, I won't look at them the same after this game comes out.
Think about all the great studios that no one would have thought would fall off their throne. BioWare, freaking Crystal Dynamics, Bethesda, Rocksteady now, like all
Arcane.
Yeah, Arcane. Anyone that tries to do that is ruining their reputation, and people will like reflect on their old games and be like, "Wow, this is not the same studio." Like that's how I feel about BioWare after Anthem, and Andromeda wasn't really a service game, but like it was headed towards there. I don't even see that as the same company. And you could throw Rare into this a little bit, even though I think Sea of Thieves is a good live service game.
Yeah, I do too.
People don't view it as Rare anymore. They're just Sea of Thieves now.
See, I think Sea of Thieves is a better, and this is very controversial, but I think Sea of Thieves is a better live service game than Halo was at its launch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just because they're like Sea of Thieves was a different kind of experience that I haven't had before with, and that's what, if you're going to make a multiplayer game, it needs to be something new, something fresh.
To not be completely negative about this whole thing, I do think if anybody's going to make a good one, it'd be PlayStation.
Yeah.
If they really want to put their minds to it, they can make a good one. But is it worth taking all of this time away from their single player games?
Was there any, at this last showcase, was there any multiplayer game that is exclusive that you were really stoked for?
No. The only one that really stood out was an exclusive, and it's Marathon.
Right.
I mean, they own it now, so that
they're getting the money for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not running out to buy a PlayStation. I mean, you have one, but for Marathon, because you can play it on your Xbox, or you can play,
Right. Fair games could turn out to be great and all. I still don't see myself that being my game.
I could see myself enjoying it for a month, month or two, but it's not what they want. They want a live service game that lasts for a long time.
Right.
For anything that I've seen shown, I don't see any of it.
No.
In a year where Xbox was pretty down, and this would have been an easy slam dunk of a showcase, Xbox can show 3 major games and completely turn a tide this year, I think.
It was about the worst they could have done for their live service push.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's completely their fault, because it came out today that Naughty Dog is having some issues with their multiplayer, and they didn't want to show it. That might have been there, and that might have, we might not be saying this at all right now, because I do think if there anything
that's the type of experience
that
that would get me on board with this. And I just haven't seen it yet.
Almost my picture for that is like an MMO multiplayer game where you're existing in this world and going out and doing multiplayer.
Because that'd be
cool.
Love to play a Naughty Dog multiplayer game where I keep coming back and there's new stuff added quarterly.
Right.
Like that seems awesome. A Last of Us that doesn't end sounds amazing.
But hey, that sounds amazing. Do that. You don't have to do all these other ones and take away from, regular Naughty Dog games, regular Insomniac games. Like
exactly.
I know those teams are going to get their money, but they're not going to be putting other studios out there. Because like Sony Bend's probably doing a multiplayer game at this point, is what I feel like. So I don't know. It's better for their pocket if it works, but it's a gamble.
It's a gamble.
But yeah, that's our thoughts on the matter. And if you think they're making a mistake, let us know. If you think that this is going to turn out to be the best thing PlayStation ever did, let us know that too. But until next time, stay nerdy.